Seems nobody wants to hire a real private dick anymore. A professional like me. A guy who does the detective work nobody else wants to do. A guy who wears hats and walks around in a black and white world. I began contemplating a more profitable line of work, like politics.
We are the show you want to know. It's time to talk to you.
All right, folks, good afternoon and welcome to the Thursday edition of the Joe Mangiacotti Show here on AM 830 WCRN. We are Radio Central from the center of the dial, the center of New England, and the center of information, AM 830 WCRN. You can join the conversation for the next hour at 508-871-7000. That's 508-871-7000. We do have our text line running at 617-297-8388. That means there's a screen here in the studio. When you text it, it does appear here in the studio in real time. We try to incorporate it into the conversation. Half of them I can't mention on air. And don't forget, you can, of course, take us anywhere through the TuneIn app. That means we stream 24/7 to the TuneIn app like thousands of other radio stations do. So that's awesome. You can take us on your device, your phone, your tablet, and you can tell Alexa to play WCRN, and she'll do that, no questions asked. I do stream the show, so that means you can also watch and listen on the station's social media platforms of Facebook and YouTube at AM 830 WCRN, or you can go over to my Facebook, my X account, Twitch TV, LinkedIn profile, or Rumble at Joe Mangi Show, M-A-N-G-I, Joe Mangi Show. And there is a complete channel on Rumble dedicated to the show. And the show is turned into a podcast when I get off the air. So not only can you go to the replay link on WCRNradio.com, and within a minute or so of getting off the air, you can click and listen to it or even download an MP3 file, or more conveniently, just subscribe as a podcast to Spotify, Google Play, iHeartRadio, wherever you get your podcast. You can do that. All right, 508-871-7000. Ted A. behind the glass guy on the board today. So he'll get you set up and into the studio for two-way talking conversation. This is the last day on air, that is, for me for the week, because on Fridays, the Carr Brothers come your way, Mark and Mike, and that's a great show. Great way to start the Friday weekend, the kickoff to the weekend is a little car talk. Always enjoy that. All right, so we get to talk a little bit about the shutdown. But, you know, I've been hearing some comments, and I even heard criticism, even on our own station, by a certain congressman, and talking about, the fact that the Secretary of War and the president spoke to all these generals in upper echelon, and how much it costs to fly all these guys in. And I'm thinking to myself, seriously? First of all, they're active generals in upper echelon. So they're flying in on military aircraft, most of them, and maybe they're flying commercially, but that's what you're focusing on. If you're focusing on that and you stayed quiet when Nancy Pelosi had $100,000 on champagne and snacks for her friends on the jet that the speaker uses to fly back and forth to her vineyard, and you said nothing. If you said nothing when Barack Obama and Michelle Obama, who going to the same place, like that European trip they did, or going out to Hawaii, they're literally flying to the same place, but they take two planes. Michelle and the girls go on one plane, and the president and his staff go on another plane. They could have easily.
Democrats.
Well, this is what I'm saying. I mean, if you're going to focus in on this, first of all, it's not weird or strange for the Secretary of War, formerly Defense, and the president to address. And the reason that the president and Secretary Hesteth wanted those generals and colonels and echelon in person in that auditorium at Quantico is that there's no mistake about what they had to say. We weren't going to play telephone with this. And there wasn't an opportunity for people to walk, or a general or colonel or something, walk away and mistakenly said, oh, we're still doing the DEI thing, right? Or we still have to have a drag story hour on the base, right? No, I don't think there was any mistake of where the direction of our military is going. And that was for the audience in front of them. That wasn't for your consumption or my consumption. It was nice of them to televise it. It was nice of them to share that. But they were talking to the generals. They were talking to the staff. They were making sure that they understood the change in direction of the United States military, and the warrior ethos was coming back. So if you had a problem with whatever it costs to bring all those generals and officers to Quantico, they weren't going on a junket to the Bahamas or a European tour with half their staff and family members on the taxpayers' dime. The hypocrisy to focus on that while you ignored the kind of spending that's done in, let's be frank here, guys. Every administration, Democrat or Republican, we spend a fortune for their travel, their family travel, of course, security. But we have to because they are presidents, vice presidents, speakers of the House, key members of Congress. It doesn't matter what party you're in. We spend that money. I'm also the first guy when people start complaining that the president's playing a lot of golf or whatever. It doesn't matter. The president is a president 24/7. Now, you'd like them to be awake during the day. You'd like them to be cognitive of where they are, what city they're in, who they're talking to. You'd like them to remember key people who have passed away recently instead of calling on them in the audience. You would like the president to be up. But I heard this B-fest. Trump looked tired and rambling and this and that, and he spent all this money. Were you that upset with the spending of the money for 2 747s going to the same location when the Obama family could have traveled in Air Force One together? Were you having a problem with $100,000 taxpayer funded for in-flight food and alcohol for the speaker's aircraft? I'm not. You go to Business Insider. These are articles you can find, people that have all of this stuff in it. And Pelosi wanted luxury military jets. They called it the Speaker Shuttle back in the day. So an Air Force transport wasn't good enough. She wanted the G5. I don't know why we have a lot of G5s anyway. Look at in 2014, Michelle's trip to China. That cost taxpayers $362,000 in change in air travel because of her entourage that traveled with her. Did you complain about that? Did you draw that out? Did you point that out? No. Be consistent. If you're outraged about one political operative's spending of taxpayer money, then be upset across the board. And if you're going to pick one to pick on, why don't you do something where it's a waste? That's hard to find. I'm pretty sure Donald Trump is the first person to ever become president who had a private jet. And not only a private jet, but a plane bigger than Air Force One. So, yeah, I'm not worried about it. He would rather be flying in Trump Force One. He asked in term one, go back to term one. He actually said, he asked, can I just use my own plane? No, you can't. Air Force One has features and defense mechanisms that even your plane doesn't have. Of course, you have to use Air Force One. Although technically Air Force One's not a plane, it's a call sign. And any fixed-wing aircraft the president gets in becomes Air Force One. Any rotary device he gets in becomes a Marine One. So the shutdown. So just be consistent in that stuff, guys. The funding, the partisan impasse that we're dealing with, and this is something else I'm hearing from the other side. The same twist, right? The same spin on this. They're going to cut Medicaid and Medicare to citizens. Let's get down on the nitty-gritty on this, because I think the defense that I hear from the left, I used to hear it on this show when we had a state legislator that used to come on my show and would rely on things like, well, geez, we're getting licenses to illegals. Isn't that going to get them automatically voted, registered to vote? Because we have that de facto registry, voter ID or voter registration with the registry. Oh, no, it's illegal for an illegal to be registered to vote. Yeah, I know that. But if you're giving them a license and you're not denoting the license, you're making no change, no differential markings on the license, then wouldn't that follow? No, the registry is going to check into that. Now, this was back when the registry was so far behind in pulling and suspending licenses. Remember the jamoke up in New Hampshire with the Massachusetts license ended up killing several bikers? And we find out that his license was supposed to be suspended 8 months before that. So just because it's illegal doesn't mean it's not going to happen. If drugs are illegal, shouldn't they, in theory, disappear?
Joe, at the time, the Massachusetts RMV was being investigated because their people were selling access.
Quincy, mainly.
Right.
Yeah.
So this claim is just, I can I use the word asinine?
Yeah, asinine's fine. I use it all the time. It was asinine. And that has happened in our registry and all registries, quite frankly. And that has happened many times. And back in that time, it was the Quincy registry that they had to find because there was somebody selling licenses out of the registry. But they were doing it with illegals, meaning that they got the ID. They got a driver's license number, and they would put a connected social security number to it, and then just generate the license with the illegal's picture on it. You know, and I know that. Look, that happens. We're against the clock, but the point is the fraud happens. To just say, well, it's illegal to pay him, then why are so many people? And I'm going to tie this in to our superintendent in Des Moines, Iowa, who was registered to vote in another state. So it doesn't happen. Meaning, what doesn't happen is the enforcement in them catching this, folks. What does happen is they fall between the cracks, and illegals are on voter registrations. Illegals have social security numbers. Focus on the reality, not this fluff that you're trying to twist it to us to. But we're coming against the clock for the first break here after the first segment of the Thursday afternoon edition of the Joe Mangiacotti Show on AM 830 WCRN. 508-871-7000 to join the conversation. Lines are open and available. 508-871-7000. Stick with us. Back in 2 minutes, 10 seconds, folks.
Looking for a fuel and food stop that truly stands out? Experience the Yatco difference. At Yatco, we're dedicated to bringing you the best customer service, the highest quality products, and a commitment to making your life on the go easier. Yatco has 15 convenient locations across central Massachusetts, and now our newest spot at 75 Quonsigamut Ave in Worcester. Yatco, where every stop keeps you going.
Polar Park is the place to play, so treat yourself to a private suite at the best ballpark in AAA. Suite rentals are the best way to enjoy a fully catered and climate-controlled experience at the park. Whether you choose to watch the game from inside of the suite or out in your seats, it's the ultimate experience for a special occasion. Visit WooSox.com or call 508-500-8888 to reserve your suite today.
Junk piling up, garage bursting at the seams. It's time to call in the mighty at Mighty Movers. They don't just move, they remove. Their junk removal and clean out services are the fastest, easiest way to reclaim your space without lifting a finger. Whether it's yard waste, old furniture, garage cleanouts, or even hoarder cleanup, they've got the muscle and the mission to get it done safely and affordably. Selling your home or just tired of the clutter? They do offer full property cleanouts, demolition, and furniture delivery too. One call clears it all. Proudly serving Marlborough, Boston, Worcester, Framingham, and beyond. They're Central Mass's cleanup crew with a can-do attitude. Call 978-793-6165 or visit MightyMoversMA.com. MightyMoversMA.com. Mighty Movers, they bring the might so you don't have to lift a thing. All right, folks, welcome back here to the second segment of Thursday edition of the Joe Mangiacotti Show at AM 830 WCRN. Reminding you, folks, that we do stream from the palatial but not overly ostentatious studios here in Westboro, so you can watch that on YouTube, X, Facebook, LinkedIn profile, and even on Rumble. We have our own channel there, so join us on the streaming as well. 508-871-7000. Let me go to the phones. Mark's waiting patiently. Hey, Mark, what say you?
Well, here we are into the second day of the apocalypto. The apocalypse.
Yeah.
And guess what? I went out this morning and made a few errands here and there all over the city of Worcester. The streets are filled with cars. The parking lots are filled with cars. All the donut joints are filled with cars. Cars everywhere. People everywhere buying, selling at the bank, down at the supermarket full of people. Boy, if this is the apocalypse, we need a lot more of it. What say you?
Mark, they are not cleaning bathrooms in state parks. Can you imagine such a thing?
Oh, heaven forbid you talk about apocalypto. But hey, you know,
It's almost as if life went on.
That's what the media is telling us. It's going to be the apocalypse. Well, like I said, if this is the apocalypse, I want more of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I know. It's almost as if life went on. Good point, Mark. Thank you for the call. So let's talk about this shutdown, right? Chuck Schumer. What I know, I touched on this the other day. I mean, he is so petrified AOC is going to just flick him out of that seat. But we have this partisan impasse over a stopgap funding bill. Now, it triggered this federal shutdown after the Senate Democrats refused to back the GOP clean continuing resolution. No, can't make it that simple. I mean, first of all, the fact that we don't pass a budget every year is crazy. That we survive on these continuing resolutions. And I know it's in the Constitution, and I know all of these provisions, but I really think the members of Congress, their pay should be held when we aren't operating under a full budget, because after all, they didn't perform their function. They're not doing their job. I think it was Warren Buffett who said, if you really want to get things in control, tie the budget to like a 3% increase of GDP, and we'll have a balanced budget pretty quick if we don't pay them for coming in on budget and on time. So the Democrats sought a package that would restore certain pandemic era Affordable Care Act. So the stuff that they dumped in during the pandemic, first it was supposed to go away in 22, then they extended it to 26. So this is what they're dealing with. It's supposed to evaporate. Democrats want to make those extra payments permanent. Permanent. Ted, you wanted to add something?
Yeah, these are things that were specifically required by the one great big beautiful bill. They want to turn it back.
Yeah, they want to flip that bill around piece by piece because it got through. So it reversed provisions in the recent big beautiful bill that narrowed eligibility for some immigrants. See, Republicans said the Democrats' proposal would effectively restore federal health benefits to millions of foreign nationals who entered or were paroled into the U.S. and therefore opposed to this clean CR. Now, the health policy analysts note that the important legal distinction, undocumented immigrants, that's the verbiage, even though in our statute, the term, the legal right term is illegal alien. That's what's in our statute. But undocumented or illegal aliens remain eligible for Medicaid and ACA premium tax cuts under longstanding federal law. Well, that's the pandemic as far as longstanding. And the dispute provisions affect some groups that they want to protect. And the Republicans are saying, no, we shouldn't be given Medicare, Medicaid, to people who aren't even legally here. This all comes back to the incentive to come here. We have had millions, or a million, some are saying close to 2 million, but at least 1 million people have self-deported since the Trump administration came in. And why? The short, simple answer is climate has changed. And I'm not talking about Carl flatulence and all that. I'm talking about the political climate and the immigration climate has changed. We've gone from the climate of Joe Biden and all the other Democratic candidates for president raising their hand in the debate saying, free medical, housing, benefits, come. We see this administration talking to states who have this self-proclaimed sanctuary status and telling them straight out, this is going to affect federal money to your state or your city if you continue to ignore federal law. So the climate's changed. It is harder for an illegal alien to get a job. I don't know about getting housing, maybe public housing, but the point is we can go and we can find case after case after case, like this Des Moines, Iowa superintendent who was literally on the voter roll in Maryland, registered to vote. And he had a final removal order from immigration. So don't pretend that illegals don't vote. Don't pretend that they're not getting benefits they're not entitled to. And for your defense to be, well, it's illegal for them to do that. That's the point. It's illegal for them to do that, yet you make it easy. Why even include funding in the bill if it's illegal to begin with? Because they want you to think that just because they've made it illegal, it's not going to happen. But it does happen. It does happen. Now, some of the contested texts from the one big, beautiful bill in related budget laws changed who qualifies by using the verbiage lawfully present. That will affect benefits for certain immigrant classes. Because if you're saying lawfully present opposed to citizen, if you illegally enter the country and you do what they were doing basically during the Biden administration, right? Because we saw the whole dynamic change. It was in the first Trump administration and even the Barack Obama administration and back Bush, because we can go find, we have the videos. We can go back far enough and find Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, all making speeches about not coming here illegally and that we can't afford for people to come in here who not the legal way and pay for them. Oh, yeah. At one time, Hillary, Bill, and Barack all sounded very MAGA. But they want you to forget all that. They want you to forget those speeches they gave. And Schumer, for that matter. We can go back to Schumer talking about benefits and how the American taxpayer can't afford it. So what changed? When did they lose grip on their common sense and go into the stances they have today? But this lawfully present, and this is what they want to add to it. They want to change the verbiage. As I said, the dynamic used to be you'd cross illegally and then you would avoid Border Patrol. You'd do whatever you had to. You'd run through the desert. You'd enter at weird places. You'd do everything you can so your path did not cross with a Border Patrol agent, much less ICE. Because it used to be if they were able to intercede, they would take you into custody and bring you to a detention center in which they'd start the deportation process. But Biden, or whoever was deciding all this stuff under Biden, changed it. And no longer was that the normal. They would it was a catch and release. They'd intercede, take the illegal alien, and then immediately parole them. I talked about this so many times on the show. The difference between an order to report and an order to appear. And because it takes about 15 minutes, give or take, to fill out an order to report, and the number of people illegally crossing was so high that the Border Patrol agents often whip those out to get 10, 20 people at a time out of their office. And the order to report just simply said, we acknowledge that you're in the country. We now know who you are. Only because you tell us, not because they came with a folder full of their birth certificate and credit report and history of residence or anything of that nature, because they, and the Border Patrol will tell you this, because they found the evidence of it at the border. Before they'd cross over, they often burned all their IDs in paperwork so they could invent who they were going to be when they crossed the line. And they also wanted to destroy the paper trail or track record of the fact that they've been living in another country for 8 or 10 years. Perfectly fine. Because if that's known to an immigration judge, your claim of amnesty is gone. You're not fleeing the country you fled. You fled that years ago. You've been living perfectly fine in another country. So why do you want to come into America now under this administration is the question. So once you, under the Biden administration, once you reached that Border Patrol and they actually filled the paperwork out and acknowledged you, let's pretend you are who you say you are, and they give you that order to report. Order to report means you're paroled to the country. You can go wherever you want in the United States. They'll even get you the plane ticket or the train ticket to go there. And after 120 days, you can apply for a work permit, and they'll give you a tax number, and you can go get a job. So now you are in fact lawfully present. That act of the Border Patrol interceding and filling that paperwork out doesn't mean you have a green card, doesn't mean you're a resident. It just means you're lawfully present. And that was the whole goal the whole time, is to do that. So they want to change the verbiage to lawfully present so that everybody who illegally came in and hasn't got their amnesty hearing yet, in fact, qualify for Medicare, Medicaid, and all these benefits. That's the bait and switch the Democrats want to do. So these policy nuances matter. Lawfully present versus undocumented. Political messaging is collapsing legal categories for the partisan effect. But we have to take our mid-show break here on the Thursday edition of the Joe Mangiacotti Show on AM 830 WCRN 508-871-7000. We'll be back in two, folks. Stick with me.
Time now for the forecast from the Boston Independence Group Weather Center. Call Jerry Doherty today at 877-772-1776. Retirement is within reach.
I'm meteorologist Sherry Spearn. Here's the latest Boston 25 weather on Radio 830 WCRN. What a great afternoon. We've got lower 60s, low humidity. Winds are lightening up as well under mostly sunny skies. Now, it does get cool tonight as temperatures drop back into the lower 40s in most spots. So chill in the air to get your Friday plans started. But tomorrow, lovely warm up back into the 70s, and you'll probably see some 80s over the weekend. I'm meteorologist Sherry Spearn. You can hear Boston 25 live for the morning drive weekdays on AM 830 WCRN.
More live and local radio is next. Stay tuned to Radio Central 830 WCRN.
This is Jerry Doherty, host of Making Money Last, right here on WCRN. Like all business owners, I'm interested in why people choose to work with Boston Independence Group. So I asked my clients. The most common response, Jerry does not try to be all things to all people. Boston Independence Group is specialized, focused solely on retirement planning. My customers enjoy the difference. We do one thing, and we do it exceptionally well. Help other people live better in retirement. That's it. If you're ready to retire or making plans to retire, we can do for you what we've done for hundreds of other retirees throughout New England. Live better in retirement. Just give me a call. I'll show you how. My toll-free number is 877-772 1776. Again, that number is 877-772-1776. And you can visit us on the web at bostonindependencegroup.com. bostonindependencegroup.com.
All right, folks, welcome back here to the second half of the Thursday edition of the Joe Mangiacotti Show on Radio Central, AM 830 WCRN. You can, of course, join the conversation for the remainder of the hour at 508-871-7000. That's 508-871-7000. Hey, don't forget the text line is running at 617-297-8388. That appears here on the screen in the studio in real time, and we try to incorporate it into the conversation. And don't forget, I do stream the show to the station, social media platforms, or at least I do to YouTube, our Facebook page, and then my Facebook page, X account, Twitch TV, LinkedIn profile, and Rumble. So many ways to join me into the studio. 508-871-7000. Let me go to the phones. Ken's waiting patiently. Hey, Ken, what say you?
I'll tell you, Joe. Just when we thought we had the best poster boy, Kilmar, Abrego, Garcia, we get another one. Ian Roberts.
Wow. Right? Right. Now there's a lot about his credentials are apparently made up.
Oh, there's so many layers to this that beats Kilmar. It's incredible.
Yeah.
To get all the layers.
Yeah.
It's going to take our full 15 minutes to get through them all.
I mean, we went from the Maryland dad to the Iowa superintendent. And this is, I mean, I don't think he has human trafficking in there, but he's still a pretty bad deal going on.
Well, of course, there's a Maryland connection.
Yeah. He was registered to vote.
Ding, 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 ding.
I mean, come on. But no, don't worry about it. Because, you know, I had state legislators and our congressman told me, oh, no, that's illegal for them to do that. So, of course,
and then,
it doesn't
Joe,
happen.
Did you catch what happened when they pulled him over?
Well, he had the money and the gun, and he was in in a school district's vehicle. What was the other thing I'm missing?
Well, no, but just think about it. Illegal immigrant with gun possession.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that gets just gone. And $3,000 in cash, because everybody carries $3,000 cash on, don't they? Or who typically carries $3,000 in cash? Let's see now. Could it be drugs? Could it be something trafficking?
A lot of times in Massachusetts, when you find somebody with $3,000 cash, they probably have 16 or 18 EBT cards too. So,
but then
do
again,
the math.
Taking $300,000.
Yeah,
I don't know how much you need an EBT card for.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, what I'm talking about here, we have a lot of cases of people who deal, right? They buy the EBT cards at 50, 60 cents on the dollar. There was just a guy with a store got busted. He was buying the EBT cards from the neighborhood people on 50 cents on the dollar. Then he was taking the EBT cards, going to BJ's. It was a restaurant. And then he'd stock all his supplies up for the restaurant at 50% face value of the product because he was using the taxpayer money to do it. So, and I know this. When I lived in Worcester, I knew people who would sell their EBT card every month at 50 cents on the dollar because they needed a rock or they needed heroin or whatever it was they needed.
So now he gets to be a superintendent. Ooh. So I guess there's some degree fraud going on.
Yes.
Wouldn't you say? And they didn't exactly do a Corey check on him, did they? Because he had already been arrested.
Yeah. He said that, let me fill the listeners in, Ken, because he claimed a doctorate in urban educational leadership from Morgan State University back in 2007. Morgan State University confirms he enrolled, but he did not complete the program. He didn't finish the dissertation. In the school board search consultant, they apparently flagged the discrepancy during the vetting, and the resume was revised to note ABD. Okay, that's all but dissertation. And the board claims that was what interviewers saw. So, hasn't got the actual doctorate, is not legally here. And don't forget, he had a final removal order issued to him a couple of years ago and ignored it.
Now, with all of these black marks, who was it that was hiring him? Do you know?
Yeah, wasn't it Michelle's chief of staff or something?
Oh, ding, 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 ding,
Yeah.
ding, ding, ding.
Yeah.
Do you know what her name is?
I don't remember it off the top of my head. Well, who is it?
Norris.
Norris?
Yeah, now guess what? Isn't there a U.S. Senate race next year?
Yeah, she's going to
She's
run
the
for that.
leading
Yeah.
Democrat candidate.
Yeah.
Who would
Absolutely.
have
Yeah.
guessed?
Well, this is going to give her opponent a lot of fodder for this, Ken. But we got calls. You got a final thought?
But the opponent could be even worse.
Yeah.
Go on with the
That is the problem that we deal with. Absolutely. All right, Ken, thank you for the call. By the way, another claim that our good doctor told us is that he had an MBA from MIT. But MIT has no record of this enrollment. None at all. They don't know what the hell he's talking about. So the Prairie districts, Mill Creek and Erie, Pennsylvania, their reporting suggests he gave the same doctoral claims. And those districts say they performed background and I-9 checks at the time. If you did it come back that he was okay or not, and you ignored it? This needs to be examined and exposed. 508-871-7000 to join the conversation. Let's go to Bob in Marlboro. Bob, first time caller. What say you?
Hey, how are you?
I'm well.
Good. So I don't even listen to like the AM, radio, but accidentally I was listening to, and I jumped into this minute conversation about immigration.
Mm-hmm.
How like you can feel by my accent, I'm an immigrant in this country.
Oh, I thought you were from Southie.
I wish
maybe
you could have
Dorchester. Dorchester.
No, I'm originally from Brazil. I've been living here from 18 years. I arrived in this country when I was pretty much 19 to 20. I didn't speak English. I don't know nobody. I was like start my life from zero here because I love the American dream idea.
Mm-hmm.
I had a good family back in Brazil where they could have a way better life. My father would support me with everything, but I decided to come in here and do the things by my own hands, and grow up as a man.
Yep.
So I had a work visa when I arrived.
Mm-hmm.
And like I say, I didn't speak English and have zero knowledge about laws or anything else. I thought that like if I stay here longer, I could have got a, visa, extended or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So by the time that I learned the laws and everything about immigration was already too late for a guy like me to do that. And prior to me get my visa back in Brazil, I had to present to the U.S. embassy that my criminal records have like zero,
Sure.
they have nothing, like zero criminal records. So a guy like me is totally clean, and I already proved that, when I get my visa and came here.
Mm-hmm.
I know I'm wrong to be here.
Well,
now.
Bob, let me
But I
ask
also
you
say
something. I want to make sure I understood what you said. You came here about 18 years ago, and you came on a work visa.
Yes.
All right. Did
Came
you
with a work visa.
did you just stay when it expired, or did you renew it?
Yeah, I overstayed.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And
Once I
that's
found out that I
actually
couldn't
Bob.
change that.
Bob, that is
No,
actually
I'm wrong.
Yeah, but Bob, let me point something first of all because we got other people listening to our conversation. Is the most common illegal status that there is are people who actually come here via a visa, either a travel visa or a work visa, and then they just simply stay after it expires. That is that accounts for the largest number of people illegally here, which of course you came to the country legally. You were legally in the country until that visa ran out, and then you overstayed. Now, did you not know that you needed to renew that?
No, I didn't know
Okay.
anything. I don't even speak in English by the time.
Mm-hmm.
But once I find out that I couldn't do this thing, it was already too late. So my point is, right now we're in 2025. Because of Biden administration, we have way much more illegals here, and majority of them came from the border, like everybody knows. And I know there's a lot of criminals that came there, and even me that I'm an immigrant, I agree that they all have to be gone. You know, if you're criminal and you come into this country where have like open arms to everybody, they don't deserve to be here.
Right.
You know, they really have to go. But people like me that had no knowledge at the time maybe deserve a second chance. So if you think of the cost, you know, for each immigrant to become legal in this country, we talk about like an average of at least $5,000 each.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, it's not more profitable for us right now to maybe refilter who is the good one, who is the bad one, and create a path to give a chance for some of these people, you know, to stay here. Like people like me, for example, like I pay taxes, you know, because I have.
Now, how do you do that?
Like,
do you have a
wait a
minute? Do you have a tax ID number from when you had a work visa that you continue to use?
Because of the visa, I had a Social Security.
Got it. Okay.
But I never used any of the benefits. Like
no, you're just paying in to the system.
I just pay. Yeah, I just pay into the system. It's the right thing to do. If I be on my own country, I have to pay taxes too. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So if I be driving my car anywhere here, so there's been everything to work. So government pays for everything. So I have to pay for taxes no matter what, and that's the right thing to do.
So,
and I know a lot of other people that pay taxes with tax ID, and they have no benefits at all too. So like, why someone's illegal to many things, but they are not illegal to pay the taxes? So why not give a chance to these people? I don't know, charge a fee or whatever,
right?
And give a chance for some of the people that.
Bob, can we use
right?
Bob, hold on a second. Can we use you kind of as a case study for a little bit here? Because my producer's pointing out that we have this offer to self-deport. They'll give you $1,000, fly you back, then you can legally come in. Now you've been here 18 years.
Yeah.
I'm assuming there isn't this massive life to go back to. You still have family in Brazil. They would welcome you back. Is that safe to assume?
Yeah, I have my father and my brother in Brazil.
Okay. So the thing is right. So Bob, you have the option of actually self-deporting and then coming back legally, but you've been here 18 years. So the thing here is, and I've actually advocated for this, but the problem is, Bob, can you hold on through the break? Because I want to delve down into your situation, but I got to take the break. It's out of my control. So just hold on the line, and we're going to take a quick break here for 2 minutes. We're going to come back on the other side and continue with Bob from Marlborough, who is here from Brazil, and we'll recap the story when we come back on the other side. But stick with me, folks. We'll be back in 2 minutes and 10 seconds.
Looking for a station that brings you all sides of the story? Tune in to 50,000 watt powerhouse WCRN, where the left and the right meet in the middle. Whether you lean left, lean right, or just want to stay informed, WCRN has you covered with diverse voices, lively debates, and thought-provoking discussions. From politics and health to pop culture, you'll hear it all right here. Radio Central, where opinions from both sides come together for the conversations that matter. From the center of the dial, the center of New England, and the center of information, AM 830, WCRN, Radio Central.
The best Italian cuisine served by some of the nicest folks you'll ever meet is at Ziti's Italian Trattoria. It's fine Italian cooking at the Speedway Shopping Center, 290 Turnpike Road in Westboro. It's like sitting down with your family for an authentic home-cooked Italian meal. From intimate dinners to catering for events of all sizes. From pizzas and calzones to classic Italian dinners. Every meal at Ziti's is one you'll remember. Head on down to Ziti's, 290 Turnpike Road in Westboro.
We invite you to listen each weekend to the Voice of Truth broadcast with Pastor L.R. Shelton.
My friend, that is declaring yourself before God. You'll keep repeating over and over again what you are, what God has showed you.
That's the Voice of Truth broadcast each weekend on this station.
WCRN Radio is thrilled thrilled to bring back a legendary voice, and now you can help tell the stories. Paul Harvey captivated millions with his unique style and unmistakable voice. By sponsoring the rest of the story, your brand can become a part of this rich tradition, and it links your business with a program that people love and trust. So don't miss this unique opportunity to grow your business while becoming part of something truly special. For sponsorship details, just go to WCRNradio.com.
All right, folks, welcome back here to the fourth and final segment of the Thursday edition of the Joe Mangiacotti Show on Radio Central, AM 830, WCRN. We have Bob from Marlboro on the line, and Bob is Brazilian. He came to the country 18 years ago on a work visa. Ignorant of the immigration laws, Bob, you say you weren't aware that you needed to renew that work visa, and so you continued to work. You were able to get a Social Security number 18 years ago and have continued. Now, yes, the Trump administration has put this, return back. You have the option of self-deporting. The government will fly you home, give you a $1,000 ATM card or whatever, a preloaded card, and then you can legally come back. Now, you've been here 18 years. Can I ask you a couple questions? Are you married?
Sure. Yes, I'm married.
To an American citizen or Brazilian?
No, to a Brazilian citizen.
And is it a female or a male?
Female.
Female. Is she American citizen, green card, or is she also
same situation? Yeah.
Same situation. Okay, so you guys got married. So you're both here. Did she come in on a work visa or travel visa?
She came with a student visa.
A student visa, and then just stayed beyond. Okay.
She just stayed beyond.
Do you guys have children?
Yes, we do have a children.
Okay.
American children.
All right. So that is anchoring you guys here. Have you currently talked to immigration attorneys about the best play that you have?
Times.
How many? I'm sorry.
Bunch of times.
Bunch of times.
I had to talk with a bunch of times. The thing is, there's a thing that many Americans don't know because, you don't have to know. You American citizen, you don't need to know about immigration law on our own country. All you're going to know is that there's illegal here, all right?
Mm-hmm.
Same thing as in Brazil. I don't know how someone goes to Brazil and how they can become legal in Brazil. I don't know none of this because I don't need it.
Right.
So there's no many options once you arrive here till you become legal.
Mm-hmm.
So now there's a bunch of options for people that are high skill level to apply for a visa, and from this visa, get a green card. But that's everything that you have to start the process on your own country before you come here.
Right.
Once you be here and you're already illegal or you overstay, whatever how people want to call, there's only one chance for you to become legal here. You marry with a citizen, or if you have a kid after 21 years old, your son can apply to you for a green card after 20 years old, and you have to prove, taxes, that no criminal records, all these things. So that's only two options now that people have if you be already legal to become legal.
Right.
So people think that other people are illegal here because they want, or because they don't want to pay a fine, or they don't want to go and apply for a green card. That's not true.
Right.
Everyone here wants to become legal, but there's not a way for that. The last time that we had something was with Bill Clinton when he created a path for legalization through a work. If you have a sponsor through a work, he could assign for you a visa that gets to the green card after a couple of years. And we don't have that. After Bush got, his administration, he closed that law.
Right.
And we don't have anything after that.
Well,
I don't agree that we need amnesty for everyone, but maybe create a path like Clinton did in the past could help a lot of people. We have I can tell you, over 20 million illegal people here, people that come through with the visa or not. We have ridiculous amount of people. And I would say that at least 50 or close to 50% have to go home because they bad for everyone.
Right.
For people like me, to go back home is hard. I was a kid. I was 19 years old when I arrived here.
Well, the thing,
and
Bob.
now I'm close to 40 years old.
Yeah.
Where all my friends, I have my wife here, I have kids here. So it's tough for a guy like me to go back to Brazil and begin from scratch there.
Right.
Everything is different.
Bob,
So
let me ask you, what kind of
work
work do you do, Bob? What do you do for work? Type of work? What type of work do you do?
I'm a service advisor at a used car dealership.
Okay. So, and again, you're functioning on the Social Security number and you're fine there. But here's the thing, and I know that you said by accident you came across the station. So first time you've heard the show. But let me give you a quick background on this, Bob, because I've maintained the same position on immigration for a very long time. And that is, we have sovereign borders. They should be respected. And you came in legally and you were here legally for a little while. But when we secure our border, simultaneously, we have to create an easier pathway so that somebody, Brazilian, Mexican, Guatemalan, I don't care where they're coming from, if they want to come to America and work, we need to have a streamlined process that says all you need to do is establish with our immigration that you do not have a criminal record, that you don't have a serious mental health issue, that you've been institutionalized, you're not a part of a gang, and you can actually produce birth certificate documentation, you are who you say you are, and a history of even where you've lived. If you can do all of that, we grant you this work permit. And as long as maybe there's a time frame, you pay into the system, but you have to exist without tapping into any of the benefits. Now, after a certain amount of time, and you've established that you can hold a job and you can take care of yourself, at that point, maybe once you've paid 4 quarters or something, or 16 quarters into Social Security, then you can start to reap those benefits. Does that sound like a fair deal?
Very fair.
Yeah.
I totally agree with you on that. Like, people have to do the right thing, you know, and that's why, like, I tell everybody here that, like, you have to respect as much as you can. I already know that I'm wrong, and I could have considered myself as a Republican. I'm from the right wing. I support the right wing in Brazil, and you know, like I say, I'm a straight guy. I'm a Christian. I'm a hard work. I don't do any type of drugs. I don't drink and drive. I don't do none of it. I try to do as much as close to like ever like normal American that respect the law. Like, and I love this country more than I love Brazil.
Right.
You know, it's
Right.
just that the type of people like me, you know, like you say, I agree with you, you know, like we could have a chance, you know, to prove that we're not a criminal, that we could support ourselves. Like I say, in all these years, even during COVID, I was paying for my rent. I know a lot of people that stopped paying rent and this and that. Like, I was paying for all my bills. I work like 2 jobs, you know, so I do everything that I can do to support my family and get no money from the government. Otherwise, I would live in Cuba, where I could get everything for free.
Right.
So
and the main thing here, Bob,
work
is it sounds like you are willing and you have assimilated into the American lifestyle. And it doesn't, to me, it doesn't sound like you're going to be one of those people, you know, stomping on the American flag and waving the Brazilian flag or the Mexican flag or something of that nature. Well,
I love the flag.
How old's your son?
Oh, my son is 2 years old.
Okay, so you've got a few years to. So the only option that you have is to wait for your son to come of age and then apply for the extension of his family.
I could do another legal thing that a lot of people did that is like buy a fake marriage to get the green card.
Yep.
And that's when when people told me that, they're like, hey, you could have married someone, but like, I'm already wrong to overstay my visa. Why I'm going to keep doing more?
You're going to double down on the criminal activity. I got it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, I can't do that, you know, and I'm not proud to myself that I overstayed. I'm not proud of myself, but I get to the point that I love this country so much that I can tell you that I love this country more than a bunch of leftists that live here.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So
it's a low bar, but I
why,
appreciate that.
That's why I feel like people like me deserve a chance. And I know a bunch of people, especially around me on my neighborhood in Marlboro, where it's just a decent people that love their country, you know, more than they love Brazil.
Yeah.
They have kids here, some in the military already, some in the college. People deserve some chance. It's just that, like, this whole propaganda that all illegals are criminal, I disagree. Right. You know.
Well, Bob, you picked a good
people that deserve a chance.
Yeah, you look, Marlboro, Framingham have, you know, we have a very large Brazilian and Portuguese speaking population in Hudson, Marlboro, Framingham. So you're right at home. Let me ask you this. Are there any soccer leagues around here? Football?
What I'm going to tell you now, you're not going to believe it, but I don't like it, soccer.
Wow. I found the one Brazilian, folks.
Hey, I have a Tom Brady jersey for every color.
All right.
That's how much I love football. So.
All right.
But yeah, probably someone's playing soccer somewhere, not me.
Okay. Well, Bob, I hope you're going to come back and listen again now that you found the station and you found the show.
Yeah, I like it. I really enjoy that.
Save AM 830 on your radio.
Oh, thank you.
All right. Thanks for calling, Bob. I really appreciate the call and the perspective.
Thank you. Take care and God
All
bless
right.
America.
Thank you, Bob. All right. So thank you again. Thank you, Bob. Interesting call. And there are a lot of people, and this is something that I've had this conversation with family members and friends and illegals that are friends of mine. And I think, and my illegal friends don't agree with me here, but Donald Trump came in with a mandate to get immigration under control and to evacuate all of the bad illegals or the people who are legally here and they are gang members committing these heinous crimes that we have record after record of. I think that at some point, once they get the millions of gang affiliated people and first of all, as they pointed out, the first job was to get rid of all the people, deport all the people. I shouldn't say get rid of, that doesn't sound right, but deport all the people with the final removal orders. After all, they're supposed to already be gone. Then go after the people who have committed these crimes and they have these cases. But at some point, when the administration is confident that they've cleaned up the illegal population with the bad actors, and at that time, what's left are the bobs, the people who came here as teenagers or they've been here for a long time and they can show that they've worked and they've stayed out of trouble, they've followed the law, they've paid the taxes because they had an EIN or a Social Security. Maybe we give them a $5,000 fine or something like that. But I think that I could even see Donald Trump then saying the people we have left are actually assimilated. They're hard workers. And like Bob, they love America and grant amnesty or an accelerated path at that point. But this is going to wrap up the Thursday edition of the Joe Mangiacotti Show on AM 830 WCRN. Thanks for stopping by. And I'm glad we picked Bob up as a listener today. I won't be back tomorrow. The Carr Brothers will be here at 1 o'clock. Have a fantastic weekend, folks. Follow me at Joe Mangi, M-A-N-G-I, Joe Mangi Show, and look for my podcast. Joe out.